Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am Wix and back with another video. Tonight I was just googling Linux popularity on the desktop and I saw 277% and I'm like, okay, even if this is not accurate, it still points to the truth. Linux is not popular on the desktop. And I was thinking, yeah, why don't I make a video to see why? Why is it not more popular on the desktop? And I'm talking here about the general public, the regular users that have nothing to do with technology. And I wrote a few reasons down because I don't like to remember too much. And we'll go by reasons. First, reasons why people are saying switch to Linux. And then we'll see why they're not switching. Okay, so first one, what do people say? Why should we switch to Linux? Because Linux is free. It is indeed. But how about this one? For the general public, all of them are free. Every OS is free. And let me explain. When they buy a laptop or a PC, if it's a Mac or a Windows machine, the OS, the operating system, comes with the hardware. So they pay for the hardware, they get a new laptop, and the OS just comes with it. It's free. And even if they don't do that, you can just go to the Microsoft site, go to download Windows 11, download, you install it, and it's free. Yes, you have 30 days to activate it, but even if you don't, it will keep working. You won't miss any features. All that you're gonna miss is the customizations, which are not many in Windows anyway. Yeah, before you get your pitchforks up, I forgot to mention, you could already see I'm using Linux. And it's bare metal, it's not a virtual machine, this is what I usually use. So yeah, no pitchforks please. And let's go back to, Linux is free, everything is free. And even Bill Gates, a long time ago, he was like very smart about this one. He was like, yeah, people are gonna pirate Windows, we know that. But if they pirate things, if they steal things, then we'd like them to pirate ours, to steal ours. Because like that, they would still keep the market share. So this argument, the Linux is free, is a non-argument for the general public. All of them are free. No bloatware. That's true. Linux doesn't have any bloatware. But for the general public, the bloatware in Windows, for example, they're features. People like when they edit a document and then poof, it goes, saves to the cloud, they don't have to do anything. Everything just updates by themselves. They like when they see Candy Crush in the start menu. Ooh, that's cool. I like Candy Crush, it's already here. When they see they can open WhatsApp on their Windows machine, an Android app, they don't care that you have to sell your soul to Amazon to get the Amazon App Store and then install WhatsApp for Android from that App Store. They're just like, oh, that's cool, I can run Android apps on my Windows PC. They don't care that this happened to me yesterday. I even tweeted about it. I was editing something in Photoshop, and then I closed Photoshop, I closed the Creative Cloud, and there were still 7 background processes running in the background. They don't care about that, because it doesn't affect them in any way. It's even possibly considered a feature, because whenever you're gonna use Photoshop again, it's always up to date because of those background processes that watch for version and just upgrade in the background. So for most people, those are features. They don't see it as bloatware. It doesn't affect them. They're actually happy to have them. People even turn on, use my search history on Google to give me news tailored to me. They see that as a feature because, you will get news about stuff you're interested in. because Google knows everything about you. They like when Google tells them, hey, a package is coming, because Google read your email and it knows that you bought something and it knows when it's coming. They like that. And I understand, for the regular user that has nothing to do with tech, they're like, oh, that is so cool. My PC tells me when my package is coming. And that's how stuff is marketed. Ease of use, features. Linux is faster. You should switch to Linux because it's faster. Yes, it is faster. But how does that affect them if their PC is not running slow? They're not doing any intensive tasks. And if they are doing intensive tasks, they know enough to buy good hardware for it. And usually, if they go somewhere and say, oh, I want a PC for editing videos or gaming, those guys that sell the PCs, they're going to give them good hardware to run Windows. And gaming is better on Windows anyway. So Linux is faster. Again, not a reason they should switch. It doesn't affect them anyway. Free apps and open source. That's true. There's a lot of mostly free apps on Linux, and not all of them open source, but most of them open source. But when the regular user hears free, they think, oh, why is this free? Is there something wrong with it? Because they trust big companies with making quality software more than random people on the internet that might not even get paid to make that software. And it kind of makes sense. If some guy or some company wants to sell software, they need to make sure it's quality software and stable and not breaking and stuff like that. If somebody makes an open source software, they're mostly likely to say, it's good enough like this. If there's bugs, I'll fix them. People will just submit them, I'll fix them when I have time, or if other people help me. And for the regular user, that's not acceptable. They rather pay and have stuff just work and work every time, not break on updates and stuff like that, than use something free. So this is not a reason the general public should switch to Linux either. Linux doesn't spy on you. Generally true. But regular users don't really care about spying. As I said, they like that Google is reading their emails and tell them, hey, your package is coming. They like when in your Windows, that menu over here that you see the news, when Windows tells you what you're interested in those panes. So for them, spying, they're like, I have nothing to hide. I don't care that Microsoft or Google is reading my emails. I have nothing important there anyway. And to be honest, if we're gonna go to spying, you can turn those off. So maybe people that are more privacy oriented on Windows, they can turn all of the spying off. Yes, you can't turn off the telemetry, but me being a software engineer for a commercial corporation, I know that telemetry has no personal data in it, and it's mostly user statistics. Like he clicked on the, not he, because it's not personal data. The user clicked on the start menu, right-clicked on the start menu 20,000 times. The user searched in the search box 15,000 times. So telemetry is basically usage statistics. So Microsoft knows to make sure that right click on the start menu and searching are not buggy, and they work fast and they work perfectly. That's telemetry. And then we move to the next one. I'll leave this at the end. Why the regular public is not switching to Linux? Because GUI applications are better. And here I fully agree. We are in the 21st century, and the dependency on the terminal in Linux is too much. Terminals were used in the 80s and 90s. That's old tech. We are in the 21st century now. We progressed a lot, and we shouldn't have to use terminal on a desktop system. For this one, I agree with them. If you tell a regular user, to play this game, you gotta go in the console, type this, go into Steam, change something there, they're like, whoa. On Windows, I just click install and play. And they're right. We need more GUI applications on Linux. We need to make it easier to use. I understand why it still relies heavily on the terminal, but if we want more people to switch to it, we need to get rid of that. We need more graphical UI. Then professional apps, yeah. I don't think it's a secret to anyone. If you looked or YouTube suggested you this video, then you already know. Photoshop doesn't work on Linux, some Autodesk applications don't work on Linux, and there's others. These are just the Microsoft Office and so on. And for the professionals in those domains, they will never switch to Linux. And you can't, people will say, they should use GIMP. GIMP is like Photoshop. No, it's not. Let's get real. GIMP, you can tell it's made by engineers, for engineers. That UI is abysmal. You can tell they didn't hire UI designer or UX designer to make that application easy to use. And besides that, it doesn't even have all the features from Photoshop. So yeah, they will never switch to the alternatives. Most of the paid apps are better than the free alternatives. If you tell me right now, let's say 5 open source applications that are free and open source, that are better than their paid alternatives, I couldn't tell you. I could say one, OBS, I'm using it right now. That's better than the paid alternatives. But from the top of my mind right now, top of my head, I can't name another. You guys let me know in the comments. There are others. It's just OBS, but yeah, the paid versions in general are better than the free alternatives. So they will not switch to Linux for that. Then we go to gaming, and this is again not a surprise. Yeah, gaming works on Linux, but you can't tell a regular user, that game doesn't work because it has anti-cheat. You can't play that. Or yeah, that game works, but not that well. Or VR, yeah. You can't tell a regular user, what do you mean I can't use my PC for VR? Everybody else is using their PC for VR. Everybody else is playing this game, why can't I? Because you use Linux. So yeah, they will not use Linux. And then I'm gonna go to why Linux has this 3%. If it's indeed 3, I'm just gonna say it's true. I don't know if it's true, but let's just say it is. Because it's not, I don't think it's far from the truth. Linux is not popular. But the users we got for Linux, they're mostly they use Linux mostly for ideological reasons. Because they're anti-corporate, anti-closed source. And they're like, yeah, I'm not going to use your better operating system. I'll use my Linux. Because it's free and open source. And screw you, corporations. That's one of the reasons. Or they're tech savvy. Or in the tech world somehow. And they like Linux for the technology that's in it, for the architecture of it. I'm included in this category. That's why I use Linux. I like how it's made. I like the technology in it. I understand, and I'm not saying, oh, it's better than Windows. It's not better than Windows. But for what I need to do and can do, I'm using Linux. If I need to do something on Windows, sure. I'll boot up a virtual machine. I'll reboot if I need my graphics card in Windows, because I do dual boot on this system. But I'm not lying to myself saying Linux is better. No, it's not. I like it. I use it. But I know it's not better. And whenever the experience on Linux gets too bad that it pisses me off, I just boot into Windows and it works. But yeah, most of the users we have are either ideological or tech savvy. and they like Linux because of that. And also, what's not to like? A guy in a, well, he wasn't in a garage, but Linus Torvalds, he was like, yeah, Unix is too expensive. The licenses for Unix were like 20k USD at the time. And he was like, yeah, dude, I can't pay that much. I'll just make my own. And he did. And then people joined him. And then Linux was born. And I liked that idea. The only thing that Linux is missing is unity. And I don't mean the Ubuntu UI. I mean the Linux community is too fragmented. Everybody, because Linux is free, they're like, oh, I'm gonna make my distro and it's gonna be the coolest distro out there. And people that like it will join me and help me. True. But that doesn't help Linux. Not in the general public sense. There's too many distros for the desktop. Most of them basically useless, to be honest. There are some of them that try to make the desktop more user-friendly, like Canonical. I would argue Fedora is user-friendly. Yeah, there's Pop! OS. But I have a personal thing with Pop! OS. I don't like it. Yeah, some distros try to make it more user-friendly. But most of them are in the mindset that we're making Linux for developers. And there's nothing wrong with that. Sure, make an OS for developers. That's how Linux started. In university, made for developers by developers. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if you go on that mindset, then don't expect Linux to be popular for the general public. It's not made for them. And that's Linux's biggest problem, the fragmentation of every distro and all the work that goes into them. If the community unites and makes, let's say, a few distros, not 10,000, just maybe 3. One lightweight, which could be Arch. One like a multimedia desktop, regular user like Windows. And another one maybe more specific for creators, where they already have all the codecs installed, all the good applications for editing, rendering, stuff like that. Then Linux will become better and we will fix all the problems with the need to still use terminal. A lot of GUI apps will be born, better quality software, less bugs. But if we stay fragmented, then I don't see Linux getting popular on desktop anytime soon. If Linux continues on this for developers line, it won't be popular. And I think that was my rant for tonight. Yeah, I'm gonna end it here. Hope you liked the video. Thanks for watching so far. And I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.